Yes, please.
Bridge nav.
Tiny postal Astra.
10 meters north. Thank you. I was hoping we could just
Walk
go.
around Argus.
Yeah, but we'll have to bump in or drop down.
Bobby, there's
It's
those shell
finally coming
sponges.
around there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Keep creeping up.
So Jenny, was the plan that the this dive was going to be a bit too sketchy with the fishing gear to do transects?
Yeah, we were just concerned about trying to move in a direction at a fairly good speed without having a sense of what was in front of us. And the entanglement hazards were just making us all quite nervous. So we decided that exploratory mode would be less anxiety inducing for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I think if the idea is to go up this ridge, that's where 3.03 is kind of, and go up towards the seep site. It's kind of more of a constant slope there. We could move along at a 0.3 knot and keep Herc ahead, but it has consequences of not being able to stop. But we are only at 400 meters, so there's not a lot of layback in Argus, so we can go a bit quicker if you'd like after we go around this little vertex here.
Okay, well, let's see what it looks like after we get around this little feature.
So many
Oh, it's a
fish.
dark blotch. Goodness.
So we've got Tom Leidick and Di Waters from Southwest Fisheries Science Centre watching on as well. So I'm sure they'll be chiming in. They will be doing the quantitative analysis of the transects if we collect any on this dive, but at least for the other dives.
We're hoping that we can do a transect around the seep area on top that is less slope. And once we scout it a bit and are confident that there are no snag hazards, then I suspect we may be able to do some transects up there. Wow, look at all of them.
Interesting, the rockfish all piled up like that.
Yeah, piled on each other.
Our goal would just be the one transect, hopefully out to 150 meters off seep and then back on and stopping to collect samples along the way.
Come down a bit, will you, Mike?
And then more by all means if there's time.
Bring your head around. Oh, excuse me. Bring your head around as well.
Copy.
Are you coming down or up?
I went the wrong way. I was like, what's going on?
It's a good view.
It's almost face downward.
Yeah, sideways.
Interesting. Yeah. I wonder if it fell. Or if it grew like that from the start.
East.
Yeah. Yeah, east.
Bridge nav. Go 20 meters east. Thank you.
Poked it.
Oh.
He seems to keep bonking his
I think
head
he's-
into the side of the sponge.
Blinded. And it looks like it's been half buried.
Another star inside.
Mm-mm.
Maybe not snacking.
Snail.
Interesting that all the lobes are oriented the same way.
Yeah. Curious.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Oh, there's more also on the toppled over. Maybe it's these. Maybe they just have avalanche, like little sediment slides.
Yeah, they got too big for their substrate.
Yeah.
I wonder what's right above. Might have fallen.
Happy to
Dropped
go up and
off
have a
and
look.
roll down.
I can go up and have a
Well,
look if you want.
They're right in this little
Sure.
gully thing. So
They
I don't
are.
know.
Should have the leash.
Oh, is it a gully? Then that's okay. We'll keep going. But that doesn't surprise me that that's where the sediment would flow down.
It's
Top
fine.
of
I wasn't
weeds.
saying that like we can't go. It's just it seems maybe like some that would
They
be
got
why
pushed
more
off.
is falling here.
Hmm.
These slopes are pretty cool the way they undulate. Are these what makes a promontory slope? What's the definition of that?
The difference in the resistance of the topography, the terrain. So the promontory is the area that hasn't been really worn down. But then you get these chutes and valleys where everything just collects. So you don't see any signs that there's like recent downslope movement. Sometimes in the sediment you'll see streaks down slope.
Thanks, Nicole.
It helps to have the higher res maps to provide context because we're so close to the seafloor, it's hard to tell exactly where we're located in the bigger scheme of the landscape. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Probably want to head up.
We wondered what was above us.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
More.
Uh,
More big.
That one on the right is enormous.
Wow, that would be
Huge.
a great one to pirouette around.
Want to come up with Argus a bit? Starting to get in our zone.
It looks so healthy too. It's pretty free of sediment.
yeah.
Rhinoid's hitching a ride. It's so much more spread out than the others. Less of a barrel or base.
It is.
Satellite dish.
Can you look left with
Yeah.
brow cam, please? Thank you.
We're
Okay,
going to consider this for a mosaic. We should turn off
pirouetting.
lasers. Can we turn lasers off?
Sorry, Nicole, didn't mean to
No, thank
overrun
you.
you there.
Go for it.
I'm grabbing the
Roger.
frames as fast as I can. This will be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the angle of it. Because it's sticking out right on a corner.
Not too fast there, is it?
No, I think
No, I think this is good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, you should have done that slower. The stills will be blurry if you move too fast. Okay, look right, please, Michael.
Say again?
Look right, please.
Seems like they're coming out good.
Yeah, all right. Go all
Looks
the way till we
fantastic. The Viz is holding.
Yeah.
And
bump here.
you're able to get all around it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay, that's the core tube parking there on the starboard side.
so if we get it from either above or below on the
Can't.
next pass.
Can't do it. No light above, core tubes below.
Core tubes, right? Forgot.
Yeah, if I look up, let's.
Might be able to get a little
I
more
could do a little more.
and then come a little lower. That might
Or
help
we
the
lose it.
model a bit.
Yeah, try it. I got dust that you're seeing there in the starboard camera might
Yeah.
catch up to it. It's hard to get back off the cliff once you're on there.
Yeah, that might help.
So, all right, coming out.
Yeah, that looks like it'll be good.
Yeah, that's definitely a different angle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can try one looking off to the side of the course, maybe.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. If we can,
And put your head out the window shot.
yeah, like look down out the window. That'd help.
For the folks who are just joining us, we are diving in Gray's Canyon off the Washington coast. approximately 375 meters of water depth. Come across some very large heterocone sponges that we are pirouetting around so that we can stitch together some images and hopefully create a 3D model.
I'm so glad that did not happen while you were doing I was just waiting for it.
I know, I'm doing it. I guess we're doing a third pass, so I am collecting still.
Oh, I guess. Oops. Jenny, I think there were a couple questions for you in the chat when you get a chance.
Nice, Dan. Great shots there.
All right, that's the third pass.
Yeah.
And this one's going to cause some dust. Came in a little hot there against the cliff.
Are Jenny and Abby on right now, Marley? Or does it look like... Oh, yeah, you guys are?
Yep.
Yep, we're on.
Oh, cool, perfect.
Doing a fourth one, Dan.
No, just trying to get out the cliff,
Okay.
and then I'm going to come down because...
My finger is going to fall off back there.
Sorry.
We need
Oh,
an
that's
auto
fine.
click button.
Came around a little fast and parked
That'll
on
be
the
fab
cliff
if
there.
that turns out. Can't wait to see that.
Go down below our
So
dust
Jenny,
there.
yeah, there were
Giant ones all over down here.
I kind of felt like I was being hypnotized. Just
Yeah.
slowly watching this go round and round.
there are a couple of suggestions or questions on the chat. One was whether we could do a transect to get some estimates of densities of these heterocone along this wall. And the other was a suggestion to maybe sample one of these sponges that has got
I want to look
dead patches,
bubble cam
so you
number
could
one.
compare tissues from the live and dead bits.
For the transect question, nav and ROV, would that be a fine thing to do along once we get to that ridge that 303 is on? Or is that something that...
Yeah, we not a long contour, especially with the fishing gear worries, but we could go up slope. That way Herc will be ahead, Argus will be behind, and we'll kind of have a good idea of what's coming up, as long as Dan's comfortable with that.
Yeah,
At constant speed.
Good with that.
Yeah? Okay, so
Thank
does that
you.
sound good to
I
you,
will-
upslope once we're on that ridge?
Well, it sounds
That
great
would
to
be
me. I'm going to
great.
relay that in the science chat.
Great.
Yes, yes, they're saying
Awesome.
upslope great.
All right. We'll do that when we get over there. It should be soon.
Sure. And then the other question of sampling, that's up to you guys.
Yeah, that would be something we would need to tackle before we start that transect. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime.
Got it.
was that something you guys wanted, a dead and a living?
I think if we see a good candidate which has got live and dead tissue, I think it's a good idea. I'm kind of holding out. I'm hoping that we're going to see some of these other species on the collections list.
Down 5, please, Michael.
Are we going for the
Copy.
dead
You're
and living Pharea
right
or
below me, by the way.
heterocone?
What's that?
You're right below me,
Tom was talking about the heterocone.
which is why I was saying,
Really?
yeah.
I think we got one right in front of us.
I think I would recommend waiting on the live dead heterocone, just
Yeah.
based on what Abby said about, making sure that we get the species that we want first. It seems
To
like
save
there's
space.
likely to be an opportunity to sample the live dead later, maybe in the dive after we do the seep detour, but
Perfect.
really it's Abby's
Yep.
call.
Yeah.
No, that sounds good to me, Jenny.
I just know that we have limited sampling abilities and I don't want to use them all too soon.
Yeah.
Might want to slide Argus away from the wall there a little. Coming
Oh
down.
yeah. Oh, you're coming down, huh?
I am coming down.
Can you come up?
It's following all these big sponges down.
This just seems to be more and more.
Yeah, I just kind of followed our nose straight down there.
Yeah.
Surprised that it kept going.
Where are we? So
Incredible.
sorry, which way you're facing is 90.
We're about
so
at
you
the.
want to go south?
We're at about at the bottom there, 7, 8 meters off the.
All right.
Something.
I can bump south, but that's not the direction we really want to go.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. 10 meters away if you are.
So
I'll come back. I'll come back up now. I just wanted to come
stand by
down
bridge.
and see.
Sorry. Cancel.
Couldn't resist.
Yeah.
I'll
no,
come
no,
back
it's
up
fine. We had the leash. 10 meters is fine.
We're not moving,
We're not
so
moving, yeah.
I'll pick a different spot to come up though.
You're ahead of me now, so it's fine.
Yeah, that works.
So how about the other wall? How about this wall? Come up here.
Yeah, that's fine. I can bump east then, if you're okay with that.
You're
That's
tugging.
towards you.
Tugging.
No,
There
it's
do
good. I'm good.
seem to be
I'm gonna come back up.
a
But-
suspiciously large number of sea stars on some of these live
Oh,
dead sponges.
come up and we'll get away from that, right?
Okay. Oh, but I mean, I can go east. That's towards you. That way you'll have the leash to look
Oh.
at this.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Bridge nav.
I get it now. Sorry. Slowing the uptick.
15 meters bearing east. Thank you. It's fine. It's all the heading changes there. Sorry, science. Go ahead.
Oh, we're just noticing there are a lot of sea stars on some of the sponges that have dead patches. Curious again if it's predation that's killing off some of these heterocone.
Yeah, you wonder if they're causing it or they're just responding to an opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if they were feeding on it, I would expect to see them on the ones that are still alive.
I hope the next generation of scientists is out there listening, can
Mm.
help us demystify some of these questions.
Mm.
Abby, for students who might be interested in studying deep sea corals and sponges, are there opportunities or good programs out there for studying these ecosystems that you're aware of?
Well, I didn't start out in the deep sea. I was doing working on kind of shallow water sponges and fish. And my first taste of the deep sea came when I was a research assistant on a cruise in New Zealand, where they were doing surveys at seamounts and were using a towed camera system and a little trawl in order to kind of ground truth the images they were getting from their towed system. And I sifted a lot of mud and we kind of went out for 3 weeks, and that was my first experience on a research vessel and sorting through invertebrates that kind of we were coming back up on deck and identifying them from the videos and then the pieces in the trawl sample, and that that was just an email that I was that went round our department. I think they were looking for research assistants for one particular cruise, and I emailed back for that. And the principal scientist wrote and said, look, we've already got people lined up for this one, but I'll keep your email on record. And I thought, oh, well, that's too bad, I missed it on that one. But then another opportunity did come up and they reached out. So I would just say, keeping your ears open if you're a student and you see those kind of opportunities come up, even if it's something that you might not have done before, it's worth giving it a shot. And there's nothing like getting some practical experience. And that was kind of my gateway into it.
Yeah, you never know.
Also,
It's always good to try new things because you never know what's going to capture your imagination and launch you into a whole new field of study or a whole new life path.
exactly.
How cool is that?
Before I studied sponges, I'd sort of been working on fish and marine reserves. And it was only when I was thinking about PhD research that I had contacted a potential supervisor and say, oh, can I do MPAs? And he's like, well, I've got tons of people coming out my ears doing marine reserves. How about sponges? So again, it wasn't something that I'd been thinking about before. Exactly, it was a little bit.
I like that.
No, well, he sold it to me as it was a fish and sponge project. So kind of, yeah.
So I think from here, if we set up at 345, so if Argus faces 345, you face 345, we'll be able to go upslope up this ridge, 200 meters, pretty uninterrupted. It might be a little bit of ups and downs with walls, but I think we can go 0.3.
Sweet. Ready for some uphill action.
Great, thanks for setting us up on the transect. Bonus.
So should we mark that start here?
No, once Arc's gonna have to get over in front of Argus at 345, and then we'll get
cool.
This
I'll wait and enter it when you do.
Yeah.
I wanted to point out that Ocean Exploration Trust has a number of internship opportunities in normal years for folks to learn about navigation and ROV piloting and some of the technical aspects. So for folks who do have interest in the deep sea, OET has a number of opportunities.
I'll be back where I came from.
For students. NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, also has many opportunities for students. There's a whole great web page with maybe 24 different scholarship and internship opportunities. So folks who are interested and students, please feel free to check out those.
Do the OET internship. Plug. That was how I got onto the ship the first time.
Me too.
I have to go back to my desktop to do that.
Product of that, aren't you, Leela?
Maybe a bit higher. And
right.
Otherwise, I can bring Argus over.
I think that must be a fantastic internship to do. Any of the OET ones.
Yeah, that changed everything for me. That's why I'm here right now, starting grad school in this.
Same here. I wasn't in oceanography at all, but I was doing land-based remote sensing. And now I do ocean-based remote sensing, kind of, and other things.
So do you come on as an intern? Do you come on for a leg?
I came on for a leg. 2013 for a 2 weeks or 3 week cruise, something like that, with Nicole in the Gulf of Mexico. And she kept inviting me back for some reason.
Who knows?
Leela, how about you? What was your first internship like?
Yeah, mine was 3 weeks as well. I got super lucky. I was at Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument off of Hawaii, off the northwestern Hawaiian Islands. So that was really beautiful. We were exploring some interesting seamounts over there.
Yeah, do you want me to bump Argus then over towards you, and then we'll go up that way? Okay. And then the general bearing for you will be 345, 342, 341. Otherwise, we'll start to go off into nothingness.
Lilo, were you working with Randy Kosaki, my friend and colleague at the monument?
At the monument, our monument representative was Justin, I can't remember his name now, Justin, well, his first name is Justin, but then the chief scientists were Christopher Kelly and Tom, actually, Horrigan from Deep Sea Coral Research and Technology Program. Well, he was helping out as watch lead on some of the
Bring your head to
dives.
045 for a minute, would you?
Yeah. Don't want to make sure
Awesome.
them move towards you.
There you go. We can start
I heard a
chasing it up
rumor
here
that
and then
Chris Kelly
come
now is
around as we come
a
up if you
neighbor.
want.
He's your neighbor. He's a, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
correct.
I'd just like to keep a steady
I
speed
think he's
at
in
this
Port Townsend.
depth. I was thinking about just going up, but we could try to do steps, but it
Been
might slow
writing to him
down,
about
stop
sponges.
and start,
Yeah.
if you're okay with that.
Yeah. I'm going to have to because it
Okay,
won't
so
look
right
like
now I
that
have an
map.
east move. It's been pretty accurate, actually. We're only at 400 meters depth, so the
Oh, yeah.
multi-beam's pretty good. So I moved east here. That'll get us a little bit behind you, and then I'll start going up.
Roger.
You're on like so the ridge is like, the other side of that is nothing.
Oh, so what do you want to...
That way.
Yeah, but I'll change my head as we come up to
Okay, yeah.
stay into the cliff, right? It curves
Yeah,
around there.
you keep your head whatever you want, and then we'll general
Exactly.
bearing. Will be,
Yeah.
and then, but we'll just make sure that you stay ahead, so we look out for gear.
Copy.
Right. So we'll wait for the Argus move, and then we'll go up.
Just saw a little rose thorn rockfish, I think.
So Abby, the one down below, the heterocone down below, I don't know if they can tilt down a tiny bit, but its protrusions, the lobes seem to be much longer than the other heterocones around it. I don't know if we can look down at all.
Oh,
Maybe not at this point.
Which one?
It's right down below us.
Below the vehicle? Like we passed it?
Yeah, below the vehicle. You might have to back off. It may not be possible.
And that's one of the things that makes sponges a bit tricky to ID is their kind of variation in their morphologies.
That's the one, right?
Yeah. See
This
how
guy?
long those
Yeah.
lobes
Yeah.
are?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the same species.
Just looks
Just-
different.
Different morphology. Yeah.
Neat.
And I think that's the rose thorn, but I could be wrong.
I also think that, but could also be wrong.
Oh, and there's a different little glass sponge that's covered in mud behind it. The little tube
Oh,
shaped
yeah.
sponge behind.
Those are so well camouflaged.
Yep. So those sponges, they are actually white as well. It's just that the spicules on their outer surface just trap sediment, so they end up kind of muddy brown like that.
Okay, I was gonna go up at 340 if that's all right. Do you want to do
Sure.
0.3?
Let's...
2.2?
Yeah, sure. Okay, try 0.3.
Okay, we can always
See what happens.
so we'll call this start here.
Okay.
Bridge nav. Let's step 50 meters, bearing 340, speed 0.3.
Could you put lasers on, please, when you get going?
Thank you.
Sure.
nice catch.
What's the name of this? Is this T1B for this?
Yeah.
Starting depth is 365.
Coming up, Mike. This the ridge you're talking about?
Yeah.
Sweet.
It'll probably be more or less angular as we go, but
That
cool.
looks like that trumpet one from the other day.
Bugle.
Oh,
Bugle, yeah.
Is that what it was? I can't remember.
I think it was
wait,
Bugle.
the yellow?
Yeah.
Yeah. And another one.
Oh man, just when we start a transect.
Always.
Ah,
Shake your fist at Liz if you need to shake your fist. No, I'm just kidding. We want the transect too.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think they're big Michaelis.
this is a cool
Wow.
ridge.
No, it'll be good to get densities on these because we do have estimates from the AUV. From
Look at the
further
one
up
on the
country.
right growing off that dead one.
Yeah. Yes. That is cool.
That's a neat example.
Swifty a fan.
Bridge now. Can we adjust this move to bearing 0? Thank you. Try to see if we can follow it a bit.
Yeah, Tom is confirming the Swifty Pacifica, there's sort of red fans that we're seeing.
Abby, what did you say about the Swiftia with the yellow polyps? Was that the one that Meredith wanted?
It is, yeah, that's on the collections list, but
Oh, look at that yellow one.
yeah,
Ooh.
could be
Neon.
another yellow storo. Yeah, so but I think the collection requests were for further south.
Okay, thank you.
I know we missed a bamboo coral yesterday, I think, that Meredith spotted.
I recall we saw a couple on the Biogenic 2 dive. And some
Yeah,
dead bamboo coral skeleton as well, right?
yeah.
You might have to slow them down to 0.2.
Roger. Bridge now. Can we slow speed to 0.2? Thank you.
Some of the dead corals had zoanthids growing over them. It was kind of hard to tell whether they were coral skeletons
Yes.
with zoanthids or an actual coral with polyps.
You get tricked.
I know we do have some invasive zoanthids here, but I don't know how deep they get.
No pyrosomes this year.
No,
I haven't seen any.
Yeah.
that was like the theme of a couple years back, just pyrosome rain.
Yeah.
2017, there were just so many.
Yeah.
Mm. Really,
In fact,
I was reading
that year,
they were.
go ahead.
I sped up again to 0.3, at least for the moment.
Okay. Yeah, I think we might need to change angle soon too if you're gonna, if it goes that way. So the next one I call in, I'll change the speed back.
Abby,
It's huge.
are you seeing that one?
Yeah. Huge Michaelia, and then these huge shaggy barrels as well.
It's really a knife edge. Knife edge ridge here. Sorry, go ahead.
Looks like it's
Another
going to
one
curve off
covered
to the
in.
north a little. Hard
Yeah,
to say.
Yeah.
What a beautiful ridge.
Bridge nav. Can we increase speed to 0.3? Thank you. Stay. We'll keep going this direction. Wow, a lot of sponge activity on the right side there.
Mm.
Does seem like these southeast facing slopes and east facing slopes tend to be quite abundant.
Mm.
That was actually our experience in Wanda Fuca Canyon further north last year. Those southeast facing slopes seem to be, anecdotally, of course, until we actually have the data to analyze, but
Have a look at aspect.
sharing my observations.
Another rose thorn.
Small heterocone.
So at the moment, we've got some efforts to model sponge and coral distributions up and down the west coast, but we're usually looking at quite big spatial scales. Whereas it's really interesting when you get the ROV perspective to see how things can vary just much more locally related to kind of the vertical relief, the angle of these cliffs and drop-offs. There's a lot going on at small scales that kind of gets ironed out a bit when you look at it from a 200-meter grid square.
Yeah, I'm aware of the work that the National Centers for Coastal Ocean Science, another part of NOAA, is working with the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, BOEM, which is part of Department of Interior, to do a lot of the coral modeling. And I was just talking with the folks in NCOS who do that, and I think we might be able to get them to do a more devoted modeling effort just for the sanctuary and surrounding area. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to zoom in a little bit and do a little bit more resolved modeling for a smaller area in the coming years. Very excited to see that possibility.
Yeah, and every time we do an ROV survey like this, where you actually kind of get visual confirmation of what the substrate is like, it makes the broader spatial scale models better as well.
We also have a collaborative project here along the Olympic coast with the coastal treaty tribes to develop what we're calling the habitat framework. It actually uses a standardized classification system to attribute the
Keep coming up, please, Michael.
Different aspects. Sort of a shared understanding of habitat that we are working to develop. Wow, look at the size of that one.
It's a whopper.
Right. Goodness. Even from afar, it looks enormous. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. This effort, along with several others, are collaborations that we're running as part of the West Coast Deep Sea Coral Initiative. But we have also been working with Ocean Exploration Trust for many years, and this is part of an ongoing collaboration between NOAA and OET, and a rare opportunity for us to showcase the unique science and educational capabilities of the partners, particularly when exploring within and adjacent to national marine sanctuaries, which is a focus both of this effort as well as the West Coast Deep Sea Coral Initiative. All kind of coming together, and just so delighted and thankful to OET for helping us make it happen.
Definitely.
Is that a perch or is that another rockfish? Looked kind of pointy nosed.
This one, I think that's another rockfish. How far have we got on the transect?
We've gone about 80 meters.
What was that, sorry?
We've gone about 80 meters.
Oh, 80. Okay, thank you. So we're seeing Moldova sole. Rose thorns. Another patchy looking sponge with a sea star inside. Kind of want to pick them up, have a look.
Do you want me to change to a bit northwards? Bridge nav. Let's do, continue this move, change course to north. Thank you.
Part of the reason that we're exploring in this area is it is designated as an essential fish habitat area. EFH, or essential fish habitat, is a spatial designation made through the Pacific Fishery Management Council. And recently, through Amendment 28 from the Groundfish Management Plan, many areas along the West Coast were set aside either to open or to close to bottom contact fishing. So there are a lot of opportunities to collect some really interesting data and monitor how places are recovering or changing over time as the fishing regulations change. In Washington State, there were no changes to the EFH areas within the sanctuary region, in part because of the complexity of fisheries management in Washington State. As I mentioned previously, many of the fisheries here are managed collaboratively with the coastal treaty tribes who have rights stemming from 1850s treaties to marine resources in their usual and accustomed fishing areas. Very interesting and unique relationship. Nowhere else in the country, except for a couple tribes in the Great Lakes, have similar rights to marine resources. There are actually 4 coastal treaty tribes living along the Olympic coast. Right now, we are operating within the usual and accustomed harvest area for the Quinault Indian Nation. As you move northward along the coast, you also encounter the Hoh tribe, the Quileute tribe, and the Makah tribe. Each of these communities have lived along the Olympic coast since time immemorial, or we like to think at least 10,000 years, which really just goes to demonstrate the stewardship. This place is in incredible shape and very well protected and managed, and certainly the tribal communities have cared deeply about this place for a very long time, and we all get to benefit from their good stewardship. Sanctuary just, in contrast, the sanctuary just celebrated its 26th anniversary. We're very pleased to be the newcomer here on the block, working with our partners to help protect and conserve these beautiful and important habitats.
Pretty impressive. So Jenny, is the ROV mate competition, is that happening right now?
Normally that happens in the spring, and then we have a big event in May. This year was different, but we hope to be back in action next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are teams from all around the Olympic Peninsula. It's really exciting. I get to be the person in the pool who goes around and sets up all the obstacles for the kids to maneuver around or manipulate in some way. It's a lot of fun. Wanted to give a shout out to my colleague at the sanctuary, Nicole Harris. She was recently named Teacher of the Year for the Olympic Coast or the Olympic Peninsula, and she's amazing. And she runs that whole ROV mate competition in collaboration with the teachers and mentors in our region. Abby, did you serve as a judge for us one year, you and Liz?
I did, yes.
Might get tugged.
I'm having some issues with the screen, so... sorry, with the visuals. Seems to be all right now, but if I disappear, might be a connection thing.
A couple of additional rockfish species spotted by Tom Leidig. Aurora rockfish, and potentially a harlequin rockfish and a split nose. So a few more rockfish species to add to our list.
Okay, I think the Aurora
prob-
have a white patch on the front, if I'm not confusing them with something else. And the
Should
split nose
probably
are the
have
ones with the
Rockfish
black
Bingo.
V. I'm not sure what a Harlequin looks like.
So does this mean, Abby, that you have a secret interest in fish as well, and that's why you know all the different rockfish and their identifying features?
The rockfish is by osmosis through hanging out with fish people. Yeah, so that on the AUV imagery, we get a lot of rockfish, and we have Erica Frew and Melanie Johnson do a lot of the image annotations. This is a Dover sole, but yeah, I guess pick up a few along the way. I know Indo-Pacific reef fish very well.
From when you were focusing on fish?
Yeah,
Nice.
PhD land, yeah, that's the one. But the rockfish are tricky.
Yeah, it seems like there are multiple that have some similar features but are different species.
And sometimes it's things like, looking at their spines.
Yeah, the third spine back is shorter than the rest. That's hard.
Yeah, or their gills, or the famous yellow mouth, which we're trying to get a shot of.
Yeah, open your
Inside a
mouth.
fish's mouth. Yeah.
We have to know.
Tricky.
Little poachers. Haven't seen those in a little while.
Yeah. But it is important to ID them, and I do know that some of these rockfish mature fairly quickly and don't live that long, well, in contrast with other species that can live, 100 years. So you really want to know which species you've got and where. No, these ones are the white dots of the rose thorns.
Rockfish doesn't have any red in it.
So Tom is asking for a zoom on some of the poachers once we come off Transact.
Speaking of, we have about 50 meters left.
Was that 50 meters?
Yeah, sorry, 50 meters.
Okay, 50, thank you. Getting some branching sponge here.
So the bathy here gets a lot less steep as we approach the top here, towards where that seep site is. And we're seeing that in the HD camera as well. Bridge now. Uh, 50 meters bearing north.
Wow, that looks unusual.
Yeah,
all
that's
those
a cool
together.
cluster.
Yeah, I think that's a cluster of heterogones all growing together. Oh, and that is a big patch of live barrier to the right.
Yes, finally some live.